support implementation of its recommendations. So it is therefore my pleasure to invite the Deputy Secretary General to deliver the opening remarks and to share her vision for how the international community can work together to ensure that the critical energy transition minerals, that they become a driver of sustainable development and shared prosperity. Madam DSG, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Selwyn, to you and your team as well for the huge drive and commitment in making this day happen. Excellencies, Administrator of UNDP, dear Alex, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to the ministers and distinguished participants for joining this first UN high-level meeting on critical energy transition minerals. I also would like to thank the co-organizers, as Selwyn had done, UNCTAD, UNDP and UNEP, who are driving work on this vital agenda forward across the UN system, together with our climate action team and the Sustainable Development Unit. Advancing the energy transition at speed and scale has never been more urgent or vital. The climate crisis is driving us deeper into planetary overshoot, with rising temperatures pushing us closer to irreversible catastrophic tipping points. At the same time, the global energy crisis is exposing the folly of a world that is still hooked on hydrocarbons, with limited access to cleaner fuels for the poor and accelerated destruction of our natural systems, pushing ecosystems to the brink. These crises have one common cause: fossil fuels, and they demand the same answer: a fast, fair and inclusive transition to clean energy, along with the shared benefits of decarbonization and a surge in adaptation finance, resilient infrastructure and climate justice for those already facing climate harm. Renewable energy is now the cheapest source of new electricity in most parts of the world. Wind and solar are now leading all new electricity demands growth worldwide. The clean energy transition is now unstoppable, but it still needs to move so much faster. And it must be fair to the people on the front lines, the communities whose land, labor, and lives will carry this transition forward and who must feel its rewards first. At the heart of this transformation are the critical minerals: copper, lithium, nickel, cobalt, graphite, silicon, and rare earths, the building blocks for electric vehicles, wind turbines, solar panels, and grid-scale batteries that will power the clean energy future. Their strategic importance expands from digital and high-tech sectors to manufacturing, health, and defense. Global demand for these minerals is expected to more than double by 2040, and with artificial intelligence and data centers expansion growing at breakneck speed, this real demand is expected to be so much higher. For resource-rich developing countries, these minerals represent a once-in-a-generation opportunity to diversify their economies, create supply chain resilience, create decent jobs and boost revenues, and accelerate progress towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. But today's reality tells a very different story. Developing countries, which should be at the center of the clean energy economy, remain trapped at its margins, relegated to exporters of raw materials, while others reap the profits. Mining communities, which should be the first to benefit from extraction, processing, and exporting, continue to face environmental harm, unsafe labor conditions, and limited economic development. Take Africa. The continent holds around 30% of global critical mineral reserves, yet it receives just 2% of global clean energy investment, compromising infrastructure, skilled labor, environmental compliance, and market access. Increased competition for Africa's precious mineral resources is also fueling instability, displacement, and deadly conflict. Excellencies, we cannot continue to allow the clean energy transition to reproduce the injustices of the past. But the reality is that as demand for critical minerals surges, so does the risk of exploitation. To secure a truly just energy transition, we must act urgently on three fronts. First, we must ensure the extraction of these minerals delivers fair, equitable, and sustainable outcomes for producing countries and their communities. The UN Secretary-General's panel on critical energy transition minerals has told us exactly how to do that. Its guiding principles and actionable recommendations are a blueprint for strengthening investment, protecting human rights and workforce transitions, enforcing our environmental safeguards, and ensuring value is created and retained at source in developing countries. I welcome the growing commitment from governments, industry, international institutions, and civil society to take forward the panel's work. The priority must be strengthening government's capacity to negotiate equitable mining agreements while expanding domestic processing and refining that drive local economies and development-resilient global supply chains. A UN task force is now coordinating system-wide action and supporting delivery on the ground in a number of our countries. Second, we must strengthen the international collaboration and ensure equitable partnerships between producers and consumers to build resilient, transparent, and diversified value chains that really do work for all countries. And for that, we will need much stronger cooperation. Bilateral deals that trade access for security or resources for infrastructure can risk exploitation, increase competition, and undermine sovereignty. So we must adopt a rules-based approach, establishing frameworks that support developing countries through technology transfer, infrastructure investment, and adherence to transparent due diligence and social environmental standards. We are committed to ensuring the UN continues to provide a platform for inclusive multilateral action. This is with the full participation of indigenous peoples, civil society, and producing countries, our workers, women, and youth. Third, full and unquestioned respect for human rights and environmental integrity at every stage. Human rights must be protected, respected, and fulfilled, including those of indigenous peoples, workers, children, youth, women, local communities, and environmental and human rights defenders. The environment and biodiversity must be safeguarded. I call on all our actors to strengthen governance by implementing robust transparency, traceability, and anti-corruption measures across supply chains that protect the environment, human rights, and indigenous peoples' rights. This is not only a moral imperative, but essential to meeting our legal obligations to our people. Excellencies, as demand for critical energy minerals surges, so must equitable governance, supply security, diversification, sustainability, and investment in recycling and technology. I very much look forward to hearing from you today on your plans to implement the UNSG's panel findings and strengthen international collaboration on this important issue. Together, let us turn the clean energy transition towards justice, resilience, and equity. I thank you.
Thank you.